Hello everyone. So it was brought to my attention by this commenter right here that I may have misinterpreted question 3.3, and upon re-looking at it, I think I did. So let's take a look at the correct solution and look at where I went wrong. So question 3.3 says the value of m is added to each term in the quadratic sequence. Determine the values of m for which only the terms between t1 and t7 of the quadratic sequence will have negative values. Now, it was my mistake that I didn't really interpret this value or that part of the statement correctly. So let's look at how we can solve this. So the commenter suggested that if t1 and t7 are negative, so all of them should be negative. That means t8 will be positive. So t8 plus m must be positive. So t8 will be 8 squared minus 8 times 8 plus 21 plus m will be positive. That means 21 plus m is greater than 0. M must be greater than minus 21. And so in our restriction, we're now going to have m here greater than minus 21. Now for the next part, t1, so between t1 and t7, those should be negative. Now since t1 and t7 represent the maximum value for tn in that range, we're going to focus on them. And let's just quickly go through the points again. So t1 was 14, t2 is 9, t3 is 6, t4 is 5, t5 isn't given to us, but we can work it out. So 5 squared minus 8 times 5 plus 21. Then t6 is going to be t6 squared minus 8 times 6 plus 21. And t7 is 14. So t6 will be 9 and t5 will be 6. And this follows a parabolic shape. And so we focus on t1 or t7 because they represent the highest value in that range. So we can say that t1 plus m must be less than 0. So t1 will be 1 squared. Well, we know what t1 is, so let's just simplify it as 14 plus m must be less than 0. That means m must be less than minus 14. Now we can add this to that, rather join it. And so our new solution is going to be m must be between minus 21 and minus 14. So let's take a look at where I went wrong. So what I've done here is I have plotted out the function for tn, and I've written it out in the domain between 1 and 8, because I want to focus just between t1 and t8. Now, normally, I know we said that the restriction should be t1 and t7, but I'm doing t8 just so we can see how t8 changes as well. Okay? Now, my misinterpretation was I suggested that it should move between minus 5 and minus 14. Now, while that may be partially correct, right, the issue that arises here is that the constraint that was given is that t1 to t7 should be negative. And so if I move it, say m is minus 8, so between minus 5 and minus 14, you can see that there are still some terms between t1 and t7 that are positive. And so with our new solution, we can easily see that t1 to t7 will be negative. Let's look at it. So our new solution says that it should be between minus 14 here. So let's enter that in. And now we can take a look and see quite clearly that t1 all the way to t7 is going to be negative. And if I shift this even more down, remember the extension is just going to be t8. So if I move it more, you can see that t8 is positive, t8 is positive, t8 is positive, t8 is positive, all the way down up until minus 21. Up until minus 21. And so this is why I think that this correction, this version of the answer is the correct one. And once again, I'd like to thank the commenter for commenting, of course. Hope you found this useful. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.